Today's recipe is sausage stuffed portobello sliders. These are going to be made with some nice portobello slider sized mushrooms. These are about the size of a hamburger roll. After they cook, they'll shrink quite a bit in size. To get started, we're going to marinate them with some nice olive oil and an O'Leary wine, which is a Cabernet, a nice pairing for the portobellas. While that's marinating, I'm going to take some mild Italian sausage, and I'm using patties here because I don't want to have them in casing, and I want to just break that up in the frying pan. As it cooks, we'll add some seasoned Panko breadcrumbs, some Parmesan and Romano cheese, some nice fresh scallions, and some Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm going to bake these then in the new GoWise pressure oven. This oven has several different functions, and I'm just going to use it as a baking oven today, not as a pressurized cooking vessel. So right now I'm going to open up the portobello sliders, wash them, and chop out the stems. We're going to use them to mix into the stuffing, and then I'm going to take the mushrooms and marinate them in the wine and the olive oil. I'll show you how I get started. Alright, I washed all the mushrooms, and you can see from the size of my hand about how big they are. They call this slider size, but actually when they do cook, they shrink to the size of a slider roll, which is pretty amazing, but that's what they do. Now these are nice beefy mushrooms. They are beautiful, and all I'm going to do right here is snap out the stem. And you can tell by that how fresh they are. Now I am going to keep all the fins inside here because I like the flavor and color it gives to the completed item here. Let's just snap out all of the stems, and we'll put these in a nice big bowl. And these are going to be so delicious. Alright, now I'm going to chop up these and set them aside for when we're cooking the sausage mixture. And we're going to put this right back in. And they will add even more flavor. So good. Right, now we're going to take this bowl here, and we're going to drizzle some olive oil over top of the mushrooms. I'm using just a mild tasting olive oil here, kind of an all-purpose one for cooking. Okay, I'm going to use this O'Leary wine, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. I think this is really a delicious wine, nice and full-bodied. Comes from California. And anytime I cook with beer or wine, I'm always reminded first glass is for the cook. I'm going to take some of the wine and drizzle it also across the nice mushrooms, and here's where I think that the fins intact really pay off because they hold all the flavors in there. Okay, that's enough for the mushrooms. Alright, now while these are sitting, I'm going to chop up the scallions and get the sausage started cooking. Now the scallions are washed, and we're going to use all of the white and part of the green on these. But to keep little pieces that you know you're eating a piece of scallion when you bite on it. Alright, I'm going to go up about this far, and I'm going to reserve this for some soup that I'm going to make tomorrow. So we'll definitely get the flavors from that later on. I'm going to have available here about a cup of the Japanese style panko breadcrumbs, and these are already seasoned. And the panko breadcrumbs are actually flakes of bread, and I think they make a little extra crunch, so when this topping is browning in the oven, it'll be nice and crispy. A little bit more than you might have with regular Italian breadcrumbs, but you could use them if you'd like to. Then I'm going to have about a 1/4 cup of the Parmesan Romano cheese on the side, and that will add after we stop the cooking. And I'm going to take about 5 ounces out of the pack of cream cheese, and that's what we're also going to mix into the sausage after it's heated up. Okay, I have about a pound of Italian sausage here. This is mild Italian, but it does have seasoning in it. Alright, I'm just going to break the sausage up as it cooks here and gets brown. You want to make the sausage pretty small to be able to fill the caps nicely. Because it's starting to cook, then let's add some of these mushrooms and also the scallions, so they can cook as well. If the meat starts to get done, we're going to turn the heat way down here. We're going to start adding the other ingredients, and we just want to make a nice mixture out of it and melt the cheese. So let's take the cream cheese here and introduce that. Now this will melt quickly, and this will start to make it a little creamy, but we don't want it to get too hot so that it would burn in the bottom of the pan. So let's just keep stirring. You can also use cheese like mascarpone. Mix it all up so that it's all nice and creamy. And here we can start, when you feel like all of the meat has some cream cheese on it, let's start mixing in the panko breadcrumbs. And just spread them around and we'll mix them all in there. And I still have the heat on low. Oh, now you can smell a whole different set of flavoring because the breadcrumbs have seasoning in them that is so nice. And this also is a shortcut. As you know, I like shortcuts, so I don't have to add a lot of the herbs and spices. They're already in the breadcrumbs, all taken care of. Okay, at this point we're turning the heat off. Really what I want to do here is just distribute the cheese evenly. Very nice. I'm just going to turn this in so that all the mixture is moist and creamy. And then we'll let this start to cool down because we're going to use this stuffing right in those mushroom caps. Let's take that off the burner so that it starts to cool down. Okay, we're just going to add the stuffing with this ice cream scoop, and we're not going to pack it down real tight because it's more enjoyable to eat when it's not packed so tightly and doesn't become mushy. They say the same thing about stuffing a turkey. Just keep it nice and fluffy, and it's more enjoyable when you eat it after you take it out of the turkey, if you like to do that. Some of these are so big, they're going to take a lot of stuffing here. Now, we've been using the GoWise pressure oven for cooking under pressure. And some people have asked Rick and I if we find that it's good for using as a toaster. And yes, we did try toasting some bread and bagels. But tonight we're going to try just baking in it without even using the pressure. And then perhaps it'll take the place of our toaster oven. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper. Alright, let's pop these in the oven. Okay, we're going to put this on the bottom rack. And let's close it up. Now we're going to set this on bake. You can choose bake, toast, or roast. And then the bake feature shows that it's going to use the elements to heat from the top and the bottom. And then we can change the cooking time and the temperature. So right now we're going to take the temperature down to 325 degrees. And then we're going to press this again and change the cooking time to 50 minutes. Now, if we were going to cook under pressure, we would just hit the P. But in this case, we're just going to start. And it's going to start baking the nice little mushrooms in here. You can have the light on or the light off. We'll be back to check on it in a little while and see how it's doing. Alright, the baking's done. Let's take our portabellas out. Nice crispy tops with the browned breadcrumbs. Look really good. Alright, let's have a sample. Now, the mushrooms did shrink quite a bit as I expected, but the topping is nicely browned and looks delicious. As I was baking these, I was thinking, since they are sliders, they would be good right in a slider roll. But we'll eat them just like this today. However, if there's any leftovers, I would consider putting it right in a slider roll. It would make a great sandwich. Nice tender mushrooms inside. Perfect. Sausage and flavoring with the stuffing. Oh, that is so good. Okay, I hope you guys get a chance to try this recipe. You can make this in your GoWise oven or any toaster oven or your regular family oven. It's an easy recipe to make and very delicious. Okay, thanks for watching. Give my recipe a try if you get a chance.